Hello, this is the Handmade Business Diary brought to you by Craft Savvy Market. My name is Sarah May Stubblefield. I am one of the co-founders of Craft Savvy Market. Today, I'm going to talk to you about being productive. And when I say being productive, I'm talking about getting work done, being fruitful, whatever thing you put in terms of your input that you can see output for the work that you are doing. So I have 12 ways to be productive. And I'm going to start from number 12 and go all the way down to number 1. They're not in any particular order, but I just decided to count down. So here we go. Number 12. One of the ways that you can be productive as a maker is using time blocks. Time blocks for whatever task you have for your business. A time block gives you a good starting point and a good finishing point. So for instance, if you're going to time block, let's say doing your content for the following week, you're going to say from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, that is the time you do content. When you get to 4 o'clock, that time is over. So time block, you're blocking a time to start and finish a task, a specific task for your business. So that's number 12. Number 11, another way in which you can be productive in your business is to repurpose content. So going back to social media, look at things that your audience responded to and repurpose it. There might be a reel that did well for you last year or a few months ago. Repurpose it. Maybe take the same reel, add a different some other music to it, and repurpose that. Or maybe take a blog post. Look at your blog post and think, how can I take this blog post and turn it into a reel? Or how can I take this blog post and use it in my story? So number 11 is to repurpose your content. You don't always have to start from scratch. Look through and reflect on what is something that you can use again. Number 10, create templates. Create templates. Instead of starting everything from scratch, think through your business and consider what is something you can do to create a template so that everything is you can have just on auto, so that you don't have to think it through. That is, it's just on auto. So you can maybe think about an email that you could use as a template. Your email marketing, what is a template that you could use for that? What is something you can use when you greet your audience to welcome them? How can you create templates in your business to make it easier to automate your systems? Number 9, another way that you could have something that is productive is to have a physical shipping area for your business, especially if you have a physical product that you send out. When I did my research, I came across this and I thought it was a really good idea, that instead of running around having your tape, maybe having thank you cards in different area, pause and just take a little bit of time, have a section in your office or whatever your craft space, any area that'll be easy for you, that you assemble your products and create a shipping area. It's a physical space. Gather everything you need when you have to ship a product to someone and just have it in a designated space. So maybe your scissors, your thank you card, tape, anything that you insert in there, have it in a space so that when someone orders your product, you're not running around looking for things. It's really easy. You're productive because all that time you might have looking for, oh, where do I put my thank you cards and where do I put my envelopes and where do I put my shipping stickers or whatever you may use, that everything is in one space. So getting a shipping area, a space that's designated for your shipping of your product is one way that you can be productive. Number 8, to plan your week in advance or even your day. Some people are good at planning their week. Some people take Sunday, they map out the entire week and they have it all mapped out on Sunday. And that's great. If that's your thing, then plan it out for the whole week, plan it out. But if you're not into that, you're like, I don't know if I can plan out my week in advance. That's okay. Just think that you can plan your day in advance. So maybe on Monday, if you don't really want to use Sunday to map the entire week, look at your Monday and just map out Tuesday. So you already know what your Tuesday looks like. Tuesday evening, map out your Wednesday, if that's more your style. So, but at the end of the day, regardless of whether it's a full week or just 2 days or a day, take the time to map out your week. Why? Because when you do, that's productive. Then you know what the day has in store for you, because either the day will lead you or you will lead the day. So if you don't have a plan, it's easy to wake up in the morning and feel like you're putting fires all day, and that is enough to exhaust you before you even get to running your business. So plan out your week, or plan out your day, or a few days in advance, whatever works for you, but don't wake up in the morning and let the day run you. Number 7, do a time audit. A time audit. Back to this time thing, because honestly, sometimes we're not even sure where the day goes. So this is a time audit. So you're actually going to ask yourself, where does my time go? And so from the start of your day to the end of your day, you're going to write down all the things that take up your time. So if you work full time and you're a maker part time, you would just think of the hours that you commit to your job. So that's one way you can do it. Maybe think of hours in the morning hours when you get up. What do you do in the morning? If you work full time, block out the day. If you work partially day, block that out. When you get home from work, what are some things that occupy your time? What do you do up until you go to bed? So you'll do this for a few days to really get a sense of where does your time go. Some of us would be so surprised to see how much time we spend on social media, that you look at your day and it's like, man, what did I do from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock? That's a 3 hour block. And so instead of having not having a clear understanding of how you spend your day, you're going to audit every bit of your time and really have some accountability for your time. The purpose of this is to be able to say, if you feel like you don't have enough time for your business, you can look at this audit and say, actually, I have more time than I think. There's some times that I'm not using wisely. I know there's a scripture that I like. I can't think of where it comes from, but it pretty much says, Lord, give us wisdom to account for the day. And so it pretty much says that as you account for your day, that you will have your gain is wisdom. So I can't remember the exact scripture, but it's something to the effect of, help me to number my days that I'll gain a heart of wisdom. So Lord, help me to number my days. Help me to know where my day is going. Help me to be accountable for that day. How do I spend my day? Where does my day go? That I will be wise as I take count of the day. So the time audit is number 7. That's a nice way to say, where does my time go? How do I spend my day? All right. So that's number 7. Number 6, as we count all the way down. Number 6, and in my research, I came across this I had never heard of before, but I thought it was a good plan. It's called make a someday maybe list. Make a someday maybe list. What does that mean? That means sometimes some of us get carried away by shiny things. We get easily distracted. So maybe it might be in the middle of packaging something for a customer. All of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I got such a great idea. Or maybe you're on social media, while you're doing something else, and you have a really good idea. Instead of finishing the task, you kind of stop and go do something else. So this list means that instead of going to go do research in the middle of something, or going to go check out something else, you keep a running list of things that you would like to do, but you're not going to do it immediately. So if you're in the middle of packaging for a client, instead of stopping and going to go do something else that sounds exciting but has nothing to do with the present task, you're going to stop, put it on the list, and then once you are done, if you have the time, you will get to it that day or another day. So this is called a someday / maybe list. So that is something that you will get to instead of stopping and going to do whatever that thing is. Instead of the task at hand, you can add it to your someday maybe list. That means you will get to it another time, but you won't get to it the present time. It's nice because you're excited that you have something new, and so you get to satisfy that urge, but at the same time, you're committed to staying focused to your business. You're not going to go do that task that sounds so exciting. You're just going to write it on this list and come back to another time. Number 5, prioritize your tasks. Prioritize your tasks. There's a concept called eat the frog. So start with the project that might be the hardest, get it out of the way, and then move on to other projects for the day. There was a quote from Jenna Kutcher that I like that says, start with the thing that will move the needle. What is the thing that's going to help your business get to the bag or do the things you want your business to do? That is something that is a higher order task, that you're going to make that task first. But even if it's not necessarily a task that brings more money, think about the task that brings the greatest dividends. Which one is going to help you? And dividends may not always be money, but it's going to give you a good return. Whatever it is that your goal is for the business, think of tasks that's going to give you the best return for what you are trying to do in your business. And it could be money, that's one way, but a return could be maybe trying to show up consistently on social media. So the task that's going to help you do that, that will be the task that will get the first priority. I came across something called the Eisenhower Matrix as I was looking at ways to be productive. It is under this idea of prioritizing your tasks. And this matrix looks at, it has categories. If you have an activity, to look and see if it's urgent versus important. And so there's four categories that you have to think through if this is a task that you need to do right now or save it for later. One category are tasks that are urgent and important. Those will be the priority. Those are tasks that relate to your clients, maybe your delivery timeline, maybe it relates to money or something with your family. Those are always your top tasks. Those are urgent tasks and important because it deals with something directly related to you personally or to your business. Another thing on this Eisenhower matrix are tasks that are important, but they are not urgent. They're really important, but you don't have to do it right at that time. So that would be maybe strategic planning, that would be networking. Those are important tasks, but you don't have to do those tasks right at that minute. You can do your strategic planning, in a couple of months or a couple of weeks. It's a critical task, but you don't always have to do it right that second. The a third block in that matrix are tasks that are urgent, but they are not important. So those might be like your blog posts, maybe scheduling content. Those are things that you really need to do maybe on a regular basis, but it's not so critical to your business that the world will the world will fall apart. And the last category is the one where it's not important, is not urgent. That will be scrolling, anything that really does not pertain to your business. So you as the owner have to think about when you prioritize the task, which of these categories does it fall in? Is it something urgent and important? Is it important but not urgent? Is it urgent but not important? Is it not even important? Is not even urgent? And as you start to think through your tasks through those lens, you can start to consider which of these tasks are your greatest priority. Sometimes as owners, we think everything is urgent and important, but everything is not urgent and important. I mean, a lot of that comes to do with our own self-care, personal habits that we have either grown up with or carried throughout our life, thinking that everything is urgent and important. And, you know, if you go through life thinking everything is urgent and important, you would just wear yourself down, because the reality is that everything is not urgent and important, but it's up to you as an owner to determine which tasks are urgent, which tasks are important, which tasks are neither, which tasks are both. Number four, I came across this in my research. It's called the 2 minute rule. 2 minute rule. The 2 minute rule means that if it's something that you can do in 2 minutes or less, go ahead and do it. Maybe you're in the middle of something and you see an email. If you can respond to that email in 2 minutes or less, go ahead and do it and you're done. If it's going to take you more than 2 minutes, then you probably need to reschedule it for another time, or don't let it interrupt your flow. This 2 minute rule is trying to say if there's something you can just kind of get in and out, respond to it quickly, do it quickly, and get back to your work. But if it starts eating up your time, it's not worth the time, because that's part of what it means to be productive. When you're productive, you're trying to bear a fruit, you're trying to see a return. If you're stopping every second responding to things and that may not really be important, then you're cutting into your work time, whatever time you need to create your product, whatever time you need to package your product. We don't want to cut in those times. So this 2 minute rule is just saying that if it's not something that you can respond to in 2 minutes or less, you don't even need to worry about it. You can do it later, or maybe remember that list we talked about, maybe add it to your maybe list or your someday list. Number three, what is a way that you can be most productive? Scheduling email and social media time. Scheduling email and social media time. That means that and this could go back to time blocking, as you block off times in the day, because sometimes not email, but social media can be a reward. You want to see what videos are out there, other people's reels. It's fun to just go check things out. But sometimes before you know it, you've gotten stuck in a black hole and you've gone from maybe 15 minutes on social media to a full hour, and then some. And most of those people have already put out their content. They've moved on to do other things. Instead of you putting out your content, you busy watching their content. So this number three says to schedule social media time and email time. So maybe let's say you have 4 to 5 blocked off to work on your content information. So then you'll block off time for social media time. Maybe you might just say, you know what, I'm going to get on social media for 15 minutes, check out different reels, see what's out there. But you're going to limit the time. You're not going to just get on social media all day. Maybe you'll just block out 15 minutes for social media time, then another 15 minutes to check your emails, to send it, or to check the emails. But either way, you're blocking this time in advance. Number two, how can you be productive as an owner? To use a timer. To use a timer. So I like this one because even though you can do the time blocking, the reality is that sometimes for some of us, we may not honor the time. You might say 4 to 5, I'm going to work on my content. But maybe 5 o'clock has rolled around, you're still kind of doing one or two things in the content. The timer says that this is the time I have set. When that timer goes off, you are done. So you block off 4 to 5, but then maybe you set a timer when it's instead of the hour, you set a timer for 50 minutes so that when that timer goes off, you know it's time to start shutting it down so that you can meet that 1 hour time you have blocked off. So the timer is helpful. Sometimes people use the a method where they work for 25 minutes and then take a break for 5 minutes. So that could be something you can use a timer for. You work for 25 minutes, and then once the 25 minutes is up, you set the timer again for 5 minutes to do anything you want to do because you have done your work for that amount of time. So a way to be productive is to use a timer. Number one, what is one of the top ways that we can be productive? Drum roll, please. It is to say no. Capital N, capital O. A very mighty word to just say no. Every time you say no to something, you are saying a yes to your business. Every time you say yes to someone that does not relate to your business, you are saying no to your business. And so saying no can be a powerful way to be productive. And for some of us, that may take time. You might be one that is trying to do all of the things or be all of the things to different people, but you reach a point in your life where you just have to say, you know what, I have to say no. And it's not necessarily a mean word, or you're not trying to not be helpful, but it's all about your self-care and what is important in your life. And so that 2 letter word, N to the O, makes a huge difference. And I've read different books about how you say it. There's a way in which you can do it that takes the guilt factor out. You can just say, you know what, I can't do that right now, whatever it might be. Maybe the family wants you to, maybe, in-laws or friends want you to go hang out with them, but you know that you really need a time for your business, to just nicely say, I can't do that right now, or that is not something I can commit to, or I'm unable to do that. No matter how you say it, however nicely or politely you say it, at the end of the day, you're saying N-O, no. And I think sometimes it might initially you might feel guilty, especially if you're someone who's not used to saying no. But over time, you start to realize that you have to set up boundaries in your life, that no is not you being mean, but is you actually putting yourself and your family in a place to be successful for your business. This business is not just a hobby, it's not just something you do. This is something God has gifted you with. This is something you're stewarding, and you have to steward it well. And stewarding it well means saying no sometimes and not having to apologize for it. I can't remember what book it was I read, but just saying that no is a full sentence, full stop. I don't have to apologize or explain it to you. Even if I don't say it nicely by saying, I can't commit to that right now. If you just tell the person, said, no, I'm not able to do that. You don't even have to explain to them. You don't have to say, I'm not able to do that because I got to do this. No, I don't have to give you any explanations. Some of those things are related to maybe your own guilt or your own inner turmoil, but that we can be freed up to say no without any explanations. And like I said, it may be something that you may feel guilty about, but over time, when you start to realize that my yes to someone is a no to my business and my family, and especially if this is a business that I'm trying to steward to be all God has called me to be, I'm going to have to just say no. So that is the number one way to be productive, is to look and say no. And, I will probably challenge you, just like you did a time audit, to really look at your life and say, what are some things that you can say no to? Even invite God God in and say, Lord, open my eyes to see what are some things I need to put up boundaries in? What are some things I need to start saying no to? Because sometimes we say yes to people, not because you want to help them, because you might be feeling guilty inside. And so that is something that you can ask God to help you, to open your eyes to see, to give you some wisdom, to make some decisions that there are boundaries you need to put up, and that you don't even have to feel guilty about. So that was the number one way. I actually had a bonus. I'm going to share a quick bonus before we wrap it up. And the bonus is actually getting rest. So the number one way was no, but I found a bonus to get rest. That you can have the greatest idea, you can have the greatest project, you can be the greatest artist, you can be the greatest maker. But if you don't rest your body, it doesn't matter. If you can't rest your body, if you're sick or you're ill, you don't feel your best, it doesn't really matter how talented you are. You can't really show up like you need to because you're tired. And sometimes some of us literally run our bodies into the ground. So the bonus tip is just to rest, to reset yourself, to maybe plan for rest during your week, plan for rest in the day, plan that vacation to rest your body. Go sit in Starbucks maybe for 30 minutes and just drink your latte and not talk to anyone and just rest yourself, or get to bed early. Whatever it is you can do to get proper rest. If you need to go to bed earlier, start backing up the time by going to bed 10, 15 minutes earlier. But there's only one you as a maker. And that business, you are the business. So if your body is not rested, if you're not showing up 100% your full self, then you're robbing those around you of your full gifting. You're robbing your customers, your clients, and people in your life of your full gift. So that rest is so important because there's only one you as a maker, and we know God has gifted you with something special, and we want you to show up as your full self. So rest is important. All right. So those are 12 ways that you can be productive as a maker. I don't know which one was your favorite. I challenge you maybe to think of one that you could do if you're not currently doing. Maybe you're already doing one or two of them, but if there's something you heard that you like that you're not doing in your business, I challenge you to start doing it so that we can be productive makers. All right. So thank you for listening. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to our podcast, The Handmade Business Diary. If this was helpful to you, share with a friend. You can follow us on Instagram at Craft Savvy Market. We are also on Facebook, Craft Savvy Market. So check us out. We hope that you will connect with us next time. On behalf of the founders, I will see you on the next podcast. All right, take care. Bye bye.